This is Access Ann Arbor.
Hi, my name is Linda Evans, and I am the Vice Chair of the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues, and I'm going to be your host. I'd like to introduce you to an amazing youth in Ann Arbor. His name is Austin Shepard. Can you say hi, Austin?
Hello, everybody.
I'd like to tell a little bit about the commission, which is a city commission, and we're an advisory board. If you have any problems with access to or issues or don't understand something about disability, you'd like some information, you can contact the commission, and at the end of the show, our email address will be given. Again, I'm the vice chair. I've been a former chair, and I've been on the commission since 2005, and I enjoy it very much. Austin, I hear that you do quite a few amazing things in Ann Arbor.
That's right.
One of them is you work with the YMCA and you teach, is it basketball and soccer or soccer?
Absolutely. In fact, I actually teach both basketball and soccer. At the Y, I'm actually a member of the Leaders Club. The YMCA is a really cool program called the Leaders Club, and it's for aspiring youths who want to make a difference in the YMCA community. We have monthly meetings, we do fun stuff together, and of course we have volunteer positions that we do. You know, and the Y is a great place. For those of you that don't know, the YMCA is all about creating a better community through youth development, social responsibility, and healthy living. So that's our main focus. And, you know, the Y, it's a very inclusive place, you know. Everybody's welcome at the Y. You know, to get a membership is very easy for low-income families and people with disabilities too. You know, it's a great place, and you know, our community really deserves to have a place where we can, you know, be together in a community that is one and not separated by various factors. And, you know, working at the Y, it's a great experience, and, you know, especially with the sports programs, you know, the people there do an excellent job of creating the programs. And it's an honor for me as an aspiring youth to be a part of it and to, you know, show a great group of kids, you know, how we have fun and how we play sports.
You had mentioned working as one. This Leo's Club that you participate with, is that an organization that works with one? Can you explain what Leo's Club is? Because I don't think a lot of people know or heard of the Leo's Club.
Absolutely. The Leo's Club, it's a branch off of the Lions Club. For those of you that don't know, the Lions Club is all about, you know, making a difference in the community. And the Leo's Club is basically the same thing, except we are youths. Normally, you know, students anywhere from the ages of 12 to all the way up to age 18, you know, can participate in Leo programs.
Wow.
And, you know, it's a great experience. We do fun stuff together. Obviously, we have meetings to plan stuff. The neutral zone has been great. They let us rent out their space downtown. And, you know, we do service projects throughout the year, throughout the school year anyway. And during the school year, we, you know, basically, you know, have a good time. We do social activities, especially around the holiday season. We love going bowling and doing fun stuff. Then we also do a lot of service projects in our community. Like one of the things that we did last year is we did a backpack drive. And it was basically something where we collected backpacks, filled them with supplies, and, you know, these were for kids, maybe in Detroit.
What type of supplies did you put in them?
Usually basic stuff, you know, the kind of stuff that you'd usually give to maybe an elementary school.
For school, okay.
Yeah, so crayons, pencils, fun stuff that they can use at home to have fun with.
Good.
you know, all the stuff, all the essentials that they need to learn and play.
Do you happen to know offhand how many backpacks you filled?
Oh gosh, it's been a while since we made a count. I'd say at least 10.
Okay.
We filled up a lot of backpacks, and you know, we had a lot of people there helping us that night, and this would have been last year when we did this. So it was a great experience, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to do more of those in the future.
Yeah, so if somebody wanted to donate some backpacks, or could they be gently used backpacks, or do you want brand new backpacks?
Usually we would prefer backpacks that are new if possible.
Yes.
But you know, any backpack will do as long as it's gently used. If it's beat up, then we probably don't want you sending it to somebody in need. So that's a general rule, and you know, there's always ways you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, if you, and not just with us, but there are other organizations, because we don't do this all the time like some organizations. So if you get in touch, there's a lot of different organizations that specialize in providing materials for low-income families that can help you start a project.
And Leo's Club is affiliated through the Washtenaw Intermediate School District?
Yes.
So-
The ISD doesn't have complete control over us. We are jointly controlled by them as well as the Lions organization in Ann Arbor. So,
But other than the contact information that'll be flashed up on the screen, that would be a good way if somebody can't remember to contact Washtenaw Intermediate School District to
Yes.
find out how to contact you.
we would prefer if you contacted us directly.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the ISD themselves, I think there's only a couple of us, only a couple of the people over at the ISD are directly connected to us,
Okay.
or directly involved.
Yep.
So, you know, it would be much preferred if you know,
Yeah.
the public, if they wanted to, you know, get involved in any way, to please contact the numbers on your screen and not contact.
Exactly.
And not contact the ISD, because there are limited resources over there that pertain to our program.
Okay. The Leo's Club does something with the Alpha House. Can you tell me what that's about?
The Alpha House, for those of you that don't know, it's an organization that's affiliated with the St. Joseph Health System, and it's a program that provides housing for low-income families that cannot find, you know, a suitable housing for themselves. And they're a program that provides housing. They provide programs for kids. They, you know, they try to keep the kids active every day. And what we do with the Alpha House is usually we try to plan an activity with them. Because normally these kids don't get a whole lot of exposure to, you know, the kinds of things that we would consider to be fun, you know, like doing arts and crafts, for instance. You know, how often does somebody from a low-income family do that? So our goal with the Alpha House is to try to give, you know, kids an opportunity to have fun and to, you know, use our bright energy to, you know, make their lives a little bit better each and every day.
Can I ask a question? What was the last craft project you did with somebody at Alpha House? Just a personal.
The last time we were there, we were actually there earlier this month, and we made these little clay fish things, and the kids, they loved it. It was pretty cool. I think the kids really enjoyed it, you know, and it was just a fun night, you know, and it's usually very informal when we go there, so some of the kids will want to make the crafts, other kids, you know, will just want to play with us and want to do fun stuff with us.
Yeah. Are parents also involved at the time you're working with the kids?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Some parents choose to be more involved than others. Some parents like to stay the entire time to take it all in. But some parents just let their kids, you know, go with the flow. But we absolutely encourage parents to get involved and, you know, at the Alpha House, because, you know, it's really good for them, too, to learn about how, you know, families, you know, how families function in situations like that. And
That's good.
It's a great way to learn,
It is.
you know, about how, you know, we can do more to impact our community.
Yes, I think so. I agree with that totally. Can you tell me how you got the nickname Voice of the River Rats?
Absolutely.
Something exciting?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I am currently a student over at Huron, so, you know, I've kind of got that nickname, especially from the athletic staff over at Huron. And I've done a lot of work with their announcing staff, with their athletics, mostly with the varsity soccer team, but I've also worked a lot with the freshman and JV basketball teams.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, the athletic staff, they wanted me to do lacrosse this year, but I said, I'm too busy.
Okay.
I can only be the voice of the river at so much.
That's true. You got to have time for yourself, right?
Yep, that's
Yep.
right.
Yep. So you do the announcing, but there's something we haven't told the audience yet, is that you are visually impaired. Is that
That's
the term?
correct.
Legally blind, but visually impaired, have some vision. How do you know what to announce? How do you see? Do you see enough to say, okay, I can do this on my own?
You know, that's an excellent question because, you know, even sighted announcers have somebody with them all the time to make sure that they know what they're doing.
True.
And especially for me, I'm visually impaired, so that means that I need to have somebody up there with me all the time to make sure that, you know, I know what to announce. Because having somebody up there will really help me to, you know, figure out, you know, what's going on the field or on the court. You know, who's fouling who.
Yeah.
You know, who scored this last goal. You know, all these things. And you have to keep track of more than 11 players.
That's true.
You have to keep track of 2 teams when you're announcing, even if you're announcing for the home team.
So double the concentration, right?
Yep.
And
It's
is
what
it
it's all
hard to
about.
concentrate when you're doing this, or does it come naturally?
Well, it depends on who's spotting me.
Okay.
You know, some people do a better job of concentrating than others.
Okay.
And that's why I try to get more accomplished people, you know, like Zach Damon or somebody else in our community that's done announcing work.
Uh-huh.
And for those of you that don't know who Zach Damon is, he's an excellent guy that does a lot of work with acting, and he's had some experience. We've actually worked together in some announcing programs in the past with the University of Michigan. So
Okay. Are there any other announcing jobs you've had other than the high school?
I was just about to get to that, Linda. And the one thing that I've done that was really cool that I've done for actually a few years with the University of Michigan is the wheelchair basketball game.
The Army-Navy wheelchair
Yep,
basketball game?
The Army-Navy wheelchair basketball game. It's really fun. And for those of you that don't know about it, it's a great way for veterans, you know, whether you're in a wheelchair or not, to play a little basketball, have some fun, and it's a real festive atmosphere.
Good.
So announcing with it is really fun, and, you know, and the Center of Independent Living, the people that organize it, through the Investing in Abilities Week, which is all about, you know, supporting people with disabilities in all kinds of ways. And that's through the University of Michigan. So
Yeah. So that comes up in October, I believe, the Investing in Abilities, and the wheelchair game is at the end?
Yeah, it runs from like late October, and it
Okay.
usually runs all the way into like early November.
Okay.
So usually it starts like the week before the end of the month, and then it runs until the wheelchair basketball game is usually the first weekend in November.
And I'm sure they can go to U of M website or contact the Center for Independent Living, which is a CIL.
Yep.
And that's at, is it AACIL.org to get information on when this would happen.
Yep, and the website, it has all the stuff you need on it. There's contact information, and there should be a calendar of events on there too.
Good,
With,
yep.
with all the information. So
Yes.
if the public ever wants to look into this and possibly attend one of these events, you know, go on their website. They will have a calendar of events that will tell you when these events will occur
Okay.
as it becomes updated. So, you know, in general, and we every year we try to get more of our community members to really step it up and, you know, get involved, because the more people that we have on our side, the more people, you know, the better our community is going to get, especially for people with disabilities and,
Yeah.
you know, mobility impairments.
Why we put on shows like this, because it brings out more awareness of
Absolutely.
people with
And-
disabilities and what they can do.
And the public can realize this. Even people with disabilities can see this and say, wow, you know, this young man right here has a disability and he's doing this. Maybe this is something I want to do too. So that's one of our main goals of doing this, is to get our community members, especially the community members with disabilities, a chance to open up and, you know, share their feelings, and hopefully we can, you know, through collaboration, we can make this community a great place for everybody to live.
I like that
No
statement.
matter if you have a disability, what your race is, your gender, we want this community to be for everybody, not
And-
just a certain body of people.
And
It's
I think
it's
we're on
how-
our
it's what
way.
we
It's going
strive
to take
for.
some time, but it's the more, like you said, more awareness we give it out there. Do you do any other volunteer work with the CIL?
You know, I have done stuff with them in the past. I'm not all that familiar with their organization.
Okay.
You know, I do know some folks over there that would know more,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't give you their names off the top of my head,
But that's
if you go to the Center of Independent Living on their website, they will show you everything that you need to know. It is a great organization. They do a lot of work with the university to, to kind of gain interest and to gain community awareness, because the university is also a major community in our town as well.
and they partner with the commission quite a bit too.
Yes.
We've got some projects coming up that maybe in a later event, or just keep track of the commission monthly meetings, which are every third Wednesday of the month, and they are on CTN Live.
Yep.
Starting around 3:15, we start our meetings. So we'll tell you a current project we're doing with Center for Independent Living. I think they're an amazing organization. Has a Leo's Club ever volunteered with the center?
You know what? That's unfortunately, we've yet to really get involved with them. The one thing that we did do with them is we did participate in the Investing in Abilities Week
Okay.
in the art project. We did that in 2013, and actually that was when we first started being a Leo Club. So technically we weren't really a Leo Club back then because we didn't have any officers. But we did do the art project a couple years ago, and we did put them on display. And yeah, I mean, I think the CIL really we're very impressed with our work, and you know, we would love to get involved with them more in the future if we can. 'Cause
I'm sure there'll be something popping up. It just takes imagination and just the right
little
person
bit
to
of
go forward
strength.
with it. Yep, a little bit of strength.
and a little bit of knowledge of what they do too, so that we can figure out exactly what we can do with them.
Right. I think spending a summer there. I hear that they also have like art type projects and other activities for people that come to the center for support groups and things like that. And maybe the Leo's Club could volunteer to come in and work with the people or kids that come into the center, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Just a thought. You also do some things with the National Federation of the Blind Ann Arbor chapter.
Yeah.
Is
And-
that
Yeah. I'll go ahead.
Okay.
So the National Federation of the Blind is a unanimous organization that supplies materials for people with blind people, for people with visual impairments, excuse me. It's an organization that helps people with visual impairments get jobs, get employed, get opportunities.
cool?
Because there was a time in our society where, you know, people with visual impairments were thrown into concentration camps. And I'm not kidding. I mean, and we want to try to prevent that as much as possible because, you know, people who have visual impairments do have talent. And I just want to let the public know right now that, you know, if you see somebody with a white cane, that means that means they're proactive, that they're helping themselves get
They
better,
are.
that they're helping themselves.
That they're out there being active.
That
That
they're-
means
yeah.
they want to be proactive. They want to be
That they
independent.
that they want to take the bus around town,
Yep.
that they want to go places, they
Yep.
want to go shopping, they want to go on fun vacations, they want to get jobs, they want to do stuff that they enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's an amazing thing, and when you can do that, you can do anything that you want to.
And with
There's no
today's
limits.
technology, I suppose getting a job isn't as hard as it used to be because you have screen readers.
Yep.
Can you explain what a screen reader is?
Screen readers are technologies that help somebody with a visual impairment read something without actually looking at text, so they can listen to it instead of reading it.
Mm-hmm.
And some screen readers work by when you click on something, it'll tell you what it is. Other screen readers will work by magnification. Screen readers can also work by syncing with Google and other devices and other programs, to work specifically with their needs. So screen readers, have evolved a lot over the past 10 years.
Yes.
They went from just reading devices to, very competent technologies that we use on a daily basis.
How tech savvy are you? You sound like you know a lot about computers.
I don't use screen readers. I use
Okay.
magnification though. But,
Magnification, okay.
I'm learning some computer programming skills, so
Okay,
I'm starting to get better at that.
all right. What about Braille? Is that a type of, I guess you would call it a font, right, that you use? I heard there's a very low percentage of people who are blind or visually impaired that do actually use Braille. And I was kind of curious
And
about
that is interesting because really that's really the only way that some people, especially people that don't have any sight at all, can read unless they use a screen reader. So,
Right.
It's amazing because I guess, the main reason is there just aren't enough teachers and enough people to teach people Braille. And,
True.
I think that's contributed to the reason why, a lot of blind people go without learning Braille and reading Braille is because they didn't get the proper training that they needed to be able to, read it and to be able to understand it and comprehend it. So, I personally used to use a lot of Braille, but I've since, regained some of my vision. So now
Okay.
I'm using magnification most of the time. I still use screen readers whenever I need them. And, that's about, pretty much all I use.
And as long as we're talking about accessibility as far as like a communication or reading, that type of thing for people who are blind, what about book reading, book readers? There's digital book readers out there now that you can get, I think, on your personal phone if you have the right phone. The digital ones you can get for the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Physically Disabled, which the commission, somebody from the library comes every month and talks about that. Do you use a book reader or do you just prefer the magnification?
I use both.
Okay.
There's a lot of different programs. The most popular one that we tend to use, and this is actually available to everyone, is Audible. And that's a really easy program to use if you want to listen to books and if you want to read books
Okay.
without looking at a page. It's a great program. Although when you buy a book, it's going to cost you money. It's
True.
going to cost you a little bit of money. So for those of you that don't want to spend a lot of money on books, there's another app that's designed specifically for people with visual impairments that's known as Read2Go. And that has virtually every single book that you could imagine on there. And, it will read to you. You can also read it with the text.
Okay.
So it gives you a broad range of options for reading. And
I'm learning some new things here.
I love using that program, and they're getting better each and every time they update it. So
Good. I'm going to have to get that information from you later to add to our disability resource list that we have on the Ann Arbor website.
And that that app is actually endorsed by a company called Bookshare.
Okay, I've heard of Bookshare.
And they're a supplier for books and materials. All kinds of reading materials, from books to magazines to even things like newspapers for people with visual impairments.
Yes.
And there are two ways that you can buy a book through them. You can either use the app, which costs money to buy the app, but it doesn't cost money to buy the individual books.
Okay.
Or you can go online and order books
Okay.
if you're a Braille reader or a Braille user. So
And then they send them to you?
yes, they
the
will
mail?
send them to you, although it does take some time to do that.
Uh-huh.
I've had problems in the past with them, because sometimes it'll take a long time for them to deliver books.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, it's a really reliable program to use, and it is secure, so only people with visual impairments can use it. So.
Sounds like the Braille, or the Bard's website that I use now to get my books. That's promoted by the Washtenaw Library for the Blind.
Yeah.
So anybody out there who has a vision problem, can't hold a book, that type of thing, just get a hold of the library or get a hold of the commission, that type of thing. We'll give you any information you want at this point.
Yep.
Austin, is there any one particular activity you like the best?
Not really. I mean, I enjoy doing my volunteer work, except it is very busy doing it.
Okay.
So that's the one thing I don't like about it. I enjoy playing basketball as much as I enjoy announcing it.
Okay.
And, you know, I spend a lot of time on my computer, that's for sure.
Okay, that's why I wondered if you were tech savvy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you are a big volunteer person. Do
Yeah.
you see yourself continuing this after into college and beyond?
I sure hope so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna take some know-how and work ethic, because college, as you know, for those of you watching that are in college time is very busy.
Mm-hmm.
You're at home studying, you know, you've got to, you know, go to class, stuff like that.
Especially
you know, do all
that first
jazz.
year. That first year
Yeah.
gets very busy. So you just might need just concentrate on schoolwork the first year. Once you get the hang of
Yeah.
it, then kind of
Then you can go back to
Yeah.
you know, volunteering and doing
Yeah.
great things for your community.
cool.
And when you're an adult, as long as you have time, you can keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're healthy and you can and you're motivated, you know, it's definitely something that anybody can do, whether young or old.
Okay.
There's a job for everybody and for everyone in our volunteer, you know, world.
Now that you're in high school, you're 15, so you don't yet drive yet. Well, you can't drive anyhow, so there's an oops. Transportation. How do you get around? Is it,
You know
Mom,
what?
can you take me here?
You know what? I'm hoping as soon as possible they come out with the Google car.
So am I.
Because I want to get around anywhere I want to go without trying to fondle around with a bus stop.
Right.
Go online and look up the bus routes.
Yep.
And calling a taxi can be a hassle too, depending on what company you use.
The company or the
So-
length of time you have to wait and you're in a hurry. Yep,
But
I
as long
understand
as there
all
is
that.
no Google car, if you're somebody with a visual impairment, you either have to walk, get a ride from somebody, call a cab, or what most people do is they take the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And in Ann Arbor, a lot of you in the audience probably have used the Ann Arbor bus system before. That's exactly the system that as visually impaired people we use
Yep.
in our community. And most communities have them.
I was so grateful that the millage went through for the extension of the bus service to go later at
Hallelujah.
night. Yep, that was so. It was extraordinary help for people who rely on the bus only for transportation, whether they have a disability or not.
Absolutely.
And
because
it was just great that I thought that it went through.
Absolutely, because, you know, now, because it used to be where you could only get a ride either from Ann Arbor to Ypsilanti and vice versa, or go around downtown Ann Arbor. Nowadays, they have routes that go into Saline.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a route into Chelsea if you want. There's all kinds of different avenues that you can go to for transportation if you're a visual impaired person, or if you have any disability for that matter. You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can. A-Ride, that is a cab company that's in town,
Uh-huh.
and that's a good alternative if you cannot get to a bus route, or if you're going somewhere that does not warrant a bus route. Maybe it's a place where, you know, there is no bus route available, or sometimes it's just easier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people find that it's more comfortable to go in a cab than it is on the bus.
They have cab, and they also have wheelchair accessible vans, and you do have to
Yep.
pre-register for that, so you have to
You
contact
do, and
the.
unfortunately, it is a very rigorous application. Like, you have to answer a lot of questions.
And you
to
need a
prove your-
doctor's thing.
You need a doctor's thing. You
Yep.
need to prove that you have a disability.
So you
know.
just contact the ride.org, and they have information online about that.
Yep.
And Austin, I think we have just a minute or less left. We have to wrap up right now, but do you have one statement to leave for our viewing audience?
You know, the one thing that I want the public to take away from this is that,
Quickly.
you know, as people with disabilities, you know, there's so much that we have to offer, and I just want people to know that, you know, it's
A
not
couple
okay
more
to
words.
discount.
They're telling me, Doug, hurry up. So a couple
Okay.
more words.
So, you know, it's just, you know, the thing to remember is you've got to, you know, be transparent and make sure that, you know, everything's all good.